So my name is Sébastien Borget. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Sandbox, as well as the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years, co-founded three companies with my business partner Archo Madrid. Also spent the last 10 years in gaming and the last almost 4 years now into being a pioneers in blockchain gaming and building the open metaverse at Sandbox.
Fantastic. Steven, would you like to say a couple of words about yourself also?
Hey, hello room. How are you? Thank you all for joining us. My name is Stephen Chase. I'm also the moderator here, and thank you for joining us for Gaming with NFTs in the Metaverse. And Sebastian is our esteemed guest. And I think that Sebastian didn't do a good enough introduction of himself. I have to tell you, he is not only the co-founder and CEO of the Sandbox, he's the COO of Pixowl in the US. He's the former president of the Blockchain Game Alliance in 2020. And Sebastian was recently named in the top 100 most influential people in crypto by Cointelegraph. I'm actually a board member and strategic advisor for Cointelegraph, disclosure. But he didn't have any influence on me, ladies and gentlemen, zero influence. and you know, we are pretty much excited here, Sebastian, to hear about the history of Sandbox, to what's the big vision, and you know, we're all ears and eyes on everyone on the screen.
That was awesome.
Thanks for the warm introduction. I try to stay modest. All right. The story of Sandbox originally started as like a mobile game that we launched in 2011 on iOS and Android. We've always been keen to explore new technology to create all sorts of experiences. And back then was starting into smartphones. So we were looking at how touchscreen can enable turning players into creators, let them make all sorts of creation 2D in pixel art. That game was essentially letting you play with physics and over 500 elements to create your own levels and share them into an online gallery, some sort of Mario Maker before Mario Maker. And it turned out into a huge success. So we had more than 40 million installs, more than 70 million players creation after 8 years. It led to a company acquisition by Animoca brand in 2018. Yet somehow we felt some frustration as the success came essentially from all the content, all the time, energy, sweat that the community the user put into creating the content in that online gallery. And we had no real way to reward, to share, to pay those creators for what they brought into the game and for the success of it. There were limitations on the platform, we couldn't redistribute a revenue share, and so on. So, we kept on going, we kept on looking at new technology, exploring blockchain in 2017. And by the end of 2017, I actually dabbled into CryptoKitty, bought some NFT, my first NFTs there, and kind of saw immediately the potential of combining that technology, NFTs, with user-generated content, and let just anyone make their NFTs, and through that, be able to sell them on marketplaces, monetize it the way they want, transfer it to other users. And we found that could be this disruption, that solution that we were looking for to really empower the creator. So since then, we've worked on a new version of Sandbox, this time 3D version, multiplayer, multi-platform, and using at this core NFTs, like all the game content made by users would be NFTs, to empower them and let them monetize a 3D asset and 3D experience. Fast forward, Sandbox today, it's been growing significantly. We are now more than 130 people in the company, 100 of.
Well, I think we just lost a little reception real quick with Sebastian.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's taking a call or something like this. Yeah.
You know, when you have so much to say about the big vision of a huge box like the Sandbox, that can even take up a lot of bandwidth, huh?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sebastian, back and ready. Please unmute your microphone.
So
yeah, you've been muted.
Phone call that's disturbed. The So yeah, I'm saying like we've been growing. We've been having now more than 160, 200 actually. It keeps growing the number of IPs and partners on the platform. The recent one being Adidas, Walking Dead, Snoop Dogg. We just passed more than 1 million registered wallet, and we grow at a really fast pace now.
Congratulations.
More than six. Thank you. It's the community. I think it's really great seeing so many people going more and more interested and entering the open metaverse through Sandbox, and then going further along, being exposed to NFTs and more. We have more than 16,600 landowners as well into our community, creators who will be publishing experience, new kind of experience. We'll surely talk about that right after. And we've had the chance to raise our Series B in November, having SoftBank Vision Fund 2 as our lead investors, as well as Animoca Brand, Liberty City Venture, and Galaxy Interactive.
That's fantastic group of supporters. That's very, very cool. So congrats on this. And so we all know that there are a couple of like big metaverse projects that are in the works right now, like Decentraland, for example. And speaking of Sandbox, so what's your big vision for Sandbox in, let's say, 5, 10, 15, maybe 25 years, and how you are diversifying, or like how are you different from the metaverse projects like Decentraland?
Well, I think first of all, like we should really define what's metaverse. Metaverse, I think, in the simplest form you can understand, it's like a parallel universe where you would be experiencing through an avatar, a 3D representation of yourself, all sort of experience, more social, more rich, more engaging, more immersive. And you can distinguish two kinds of metaverse, like centralized one, which are like the existing virtual world of social media companies such as Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, Meta, ex-Facebook, which claim to be the metaverse, but just are just closed economy world where users have been logged, the value is being logged, cannot be transferred. And we can talk more about that after. And then you have like more the decentralized one, such a group which Decentraland, Sandbox, Omnium Space, Pixowl, and a few others is part of. And that's embrace Web3, embrace the idea that users should own their identity, an avatar should own their digital asset as NFT, should own their currency, and have the freedom to transfer them the way they want, to whoever they want, without requiring permission, and through interoperability even better, like use those assets across those multiple worlds along. The main differentiator we think with other decentralized virtual world is like we've been putting a lot of focus more on gaming. That's our background. The team has spent more than 10 years creating games that fun, that create engagement and retention. And using those gaming mechanics into and making them available to users through our game maker, which is a no-code tool, so that they can make more fun experience for everyone. We also chose to not be a web-based experience, so you need a client to access Sandbox. For now, it's on PC. It will be Mac beginning of next year and mobile by end of next year. And that means maybe there's a bit more friction to enter it. Like Decentraland is just browser-based, it's really fast. Pixowl as well. Somnium Space is more VR, so there's different ways to access and experience it. Sandbox, it's on PC, and you need that client. But after, like the kind of controls, camera and controller with your avatar are, I would say, more reactive. You can do more action like jumping, running, swimming, dancing, killing, fighting enemies, having all sorts of interaction. The quality of graphics is definitely more, it runs faster, it's optimized for the GPU, etc. And we also spent a lot of time to bring and educate brands and IPs into Sandbox to create more meaningful experience with them and allow their fans and community through user-generated content to create their own adventures, their own stories, their own games, and more. with NFTs from them, like playing with your Walking Dead, playing with Snoop as your avatar, bringing your Smurf, and creating all sorts of adventure games with that. And that's something unique into Sandbox. There's no other place in the world where you can have a Snoop next to a Walking Dead, next to a Smurf, for example.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting part, because when I was kind of digging into Sandbox and exploring what you guys are building, something that got me really excited is the box edit and the creator tools in Sandbox, because as I understood, it's incredibly easy to get started with Sandbox creation, and it's very accessible to people who are not quote unquote tech savvy. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, indeed. Like our approach has been to making like really accessible tools. VoxEdit, the 3D editor, allows you to make like 3D content and animate them, and then use it to use as game assets. Just drag and drop it into our game maker, and you can start creating those games. Pick a behavior, whether it's enemy, platform, decoration, and so on. And that game maker, like I insist, is no code. So there's really no learning curve required to start creating within minutes any sort of experience. Like unlike Roblox, where you have to learn a new programming language, etc. And we get a lot of good feedback, positive feedback from the community. People who are not IT specialists, never make game before. They found out about Sandbox, they got interested, and now they are like running builder studios with starting solo, and now some of them have like 10 people or even 40 people for the largest one. So really sparkling a whole creator economy behind with NFTs, with a utility through our game maker.
And they can make money out of it. So you can basically start playing Sandbox, start creating assets for Sandbox, and basically make a living by doing what you love.
Yep, that's really, I would say there's two aspects here. First of all, as a creator, you get back 100% of the revenue from the value you generate, which I think is really a compelling value proposition. And like Roblox, where you just get 30%, different stores where you get maybe 70% at best. Here, really, like all the value goes back to user first. And as a player, there's more jobs and revenue opportunities as more than creators into Sandbox. Like you can be a community manager, you can be a fashion designer, you can be a coach, you can be a player actually. Like spending time being present to Social Hub, completing quests and collecting tokens. Those tokens can have value on secondary marketplace, could be sold, and that can derive an income from it. That's really our view of like play to earn into Sandbox. That speaks to both creators and players.
That makes perfect sense. And like speaking of Sandbox as a company, and of course you're running a business and you're supposed to like generate revenue and support the community. So if 100% of value goes to creators, and you are now supporting the company by selling land and selling some NFTs. So what happens when everything is sold? How do you plan to support the community, and how do you plan to support the staking pool for Sand token?
That's a great question, and that's something we've been given a lot of thought from the beginning. And ultimately, we decided that 50% of any revenue stream in Sandbox coming from land sales or coming from those royalty, the 5% royalty we collect on any transaction, 50% of it will be going back into the foundation. And that foundation has one role, is to support creators, to support players, and to support stakers. And that's unique. I think there's no other platform currently existing that gives back so much to its community, to keep attracting creators, to keep attracting players, and to making sure like there's always fresh content being published into their land, into those experiences.
And do you guys have a secondary take rate? So if the land is resold on OpenSea? Do you guys take a piece of the transaction, and how much the piece is?
Yeah, exactly. We take 5%.
5% is it's very generous comparing to the take rate from centralized metaverses and companies in general. I guess this is what one of the most exciting things about Web3 is that like platforms like OpenSea and guys like you're just taking 5%. OpenSea, I believe, takes like 2.5% in commission fee for trading on the platform, and it gives and unlocks so much capital for creators that people actually want to build and sell and make a living around it.
Absolutely. We think it's key, and that's why we chose to become like this Web3 decentralized metaverse. We'll focus on like putting users first, like making sure like we'll have like player-driven economy, players and creators owning their asset, and us ultimately will over time, over the next 3-5 years, we'll no longer be owning any land, we'll no longer be owning any sand or assets. It's all UGC, and all of that will be going to we'll just become an actor among the community, and the community will be governing that world, which they
that makes perfect sense. Yeah. A bit technical question is as far as I know, you guys are bridging to Polygon because of the gas fees. So basically, for the audience, so currently Sandbox is operating on Ethereum, and the gas prices are high, and you are bridging to another network where the gas fees or transaction fees for miners are lower, and it makes the product even more accessible. So how is it going, and like when do you plan to complete the transition?
So it's been in the work, and we're getting close to launch the first step indeed of moving to Polygon. It will start with having Sand on bridge on Polygon, and we'll be rewarding the first user who bridge Sand with a liquidity mining program.
I need to jump in this.
And then next year we'll continue migrating all assets, asset, lands, experiences, games, and so on, until we are fully on Polygon only, and that means like faster transactions, lower fees, and also like more environmentally friendly blockchain support here, since we'll be. In the meantime, we continue our effort to support by paying back carbon credits through Nori as a platform, and giving to WeForest as a charity which support creating, planting and growing forests around the world.
No, that's incredible, and that's I'm really looking forward to more companies doing things like that. It's very good. So kind of circling back to Sandbox, I got really excited about your partnership with Snoop Dogg, and like you mentioned, and as far as I know, he's going to be presenting like his first digital appearance is going to be on Sandbox. So my question here to you is like, how do you think about partnerships in Sandbox? Why you decide to, let's say, collaborate with Snoop Dogg and not with somebody else? So how do you choose partners, and why the companies are excited about Sandbox and getting into Sandbox?
I think the question is not like why we choose Snoop Dogg and not anybody else. It's more like who wants to enter the metaverse, who wants to have a great, be a first pioneers into NFT. And historically speaking, we've been there for 3 years. We've contributed to educate a lot brands and IPs about NFTs. It used to take us like over a year to convince a brand, to explain them the value proposition, how we are going to do it, and show them. And more recently, with like more awareness and hype around NFTs, there's been a growing number of artists, music, sport athletes, celebrities, brands, IPs that got interested into the topic. Yet we're glad to have some really of first movers who cares truly about their community. And Snoop Dogg, in a way, has always been an innovator, and he's been very attached to offer something unique to his fan and be consistent into that through the years. And we're glad to have him and work on several of creative aspects, like launching the first ever NFT ticket into Sandbox to access his concert, making his virtual mansion available so that like fans can visit it, because he had fans that complained they could never ever in their life access his Hollywood mansion, so he can be closer to them into a virtual world, and creating avatars and other cool stuff around it. So we really like how he approached NFTs, and now he's really full on his strategy. Walking Dead is really cool, and as well, Adidas is the latest brand that enters Sandbox and enter the Metaverse and chose Sandbox as its partner for that, as well as Bored Ape, as well as other major names in the space. So we're glad that Sandbox can bring value and utility to the communities, to the fans for those brands, and that value is really clear when you look at GameMaker, when you look at the experience, now when you look at Alpha. We're going to continue accelerating that. Like, we remain very open to all brands. Even brands can just enter by themselves without partnering specifically with Sandbox. We've seen that. We've seen music artists launching their own world without even us being involved. That there's a whole ecosystem behind of builder studios, artists, music festivals, etc., who online are preparing something. What excites me the most is like I'm not even aware of what they're preparing. So every day is a new surprise. I discover new stuff happening into our metaverse.
Yeah, that's
the most fun surprise you discovered. Go ahead, Gleb. I'm sorry.
No. I just bugged a little bit. Continue, please.
What was the most, Sebastian? What was the most unique discovery you woke up to in the morning on the platform?
I think definitely seeing some of the user story, like really life-changing story for many of our users who said, look, 1 year ago I used to lose my job or I had debt on my house, I couldn't pay it. And then I look at something and I had no specific skills, like I didn't go to a higher university or like higher level studies, but I found with my passion something to be made in Sandbox. And I got to start to get fans. You guys have been supporting me, and now I'm able to, well, not only live well, but also like hire people, pay back the debt, and etc. Those are great, powerful stories, like life-impacting stories. And I really don't want them to be just one kind of story. I just want to be millions of people's stories, like. Changing people's life through the metaverse is probably one of the best ways to show like how the metaverse is something different than what they've ever seen before.
I have to tell you, and when you wake up in the morning and you know that you've changed lives, it's the thing that we all hear when you hear companies, you hear startups 5 years young in companies, and it's a pleasure to hear that you're actually making positive change at that as well. So. Congratulations to you and the team, as a matter of fact, for making a positive change in a lot of folks' life. We only have a few minutes before the session ends, and I would like to know if there's any questions from the audience.
We have a couple of people. You want to can you let them in? Yeah, let's do that. We have like 2, 3, 4 people or something like this.
One person at a time.
Hello to everyone. Nice to I would like to ask, what have been the most difficult areas that you faced so far in adopting NFTs to gaming?
I think looking back, it's great now that everyone seems to really understand the benefit of NFT technology, the value of like applying this to gaming. But it didn't used to be like that. And when we started in 2018, people were saying, "Oh, you're just Minecraft with NFTs. Why would someone need Minecraft with NFTs? There's already Minecraft. Like, or what is it that you bring that's new?" And it took us roughly 12 months to raise the first $500,000 for the company back in 2018. Like, I got a lot of no, people were not convinced we had that capacity to build our vision, to execute, even if maybe the idea was interesting at best. So it takes a lot of like conviction of like why you're really doing this, like what motivates, and to build this over time and to demonstrate it not just by claiming the power of token, the power of crypto, etc., but by shipping a product that showcase like you're damn serious about it and getting users to use that product, finding the right community, right audience, and then progressively showing that introducing your tokens, introducing your NFTs, etc., that showing there's demand for it, that people are ready to buy and believe in what you're creating and participate into the circular economy of it. So that's, I think it's the hardest thing. Like people in the current more bullish market, like people lose that patience. They don't tend to care or expect that it could be a long road until you reach a certain point of success. But that's, I think, that you should be aiming for. Like always, like what's the long-term vision and how you build a solid basis over what you're trying to achieve.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Sébastien. And it is time to close the room, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't thank you all enough. Webb, thank you so much. You're absolutely amazing, Sébastien. So much, and all the best, and every and each milestone that you do achieve, and changing even more lives out there.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you,
No
Stephen,
problem at
and
all.
thank you, Sébastien. It was really nice talking to you, and I wish you all the best moving forward. You guys are crushing it.
Thank you everyone for listening. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Well, I invite you to check out Sandbox and hopefully see you in the Metaverse.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
Sebastian, can I ask you one question, please? I had a question to ask you.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you so much, brother. So I'm talking to you. I'm actually trying to work on a virtual reality something to do with meditation and very calm music and stuff like that, to give a very beautiful environment where people can come and surf the space in virtual reality with augmented reality also. So my question is it possible to run this on a blockchain on the metaverse? Is it possible to run this?
Well, I think it's definitely possible, and I like how it's diverse, the way you're thinking about like mental health and well-being.
Sebastian, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Delay.
Well, there is some delay in the network, yeah.
Yep. Just saying, like, I think it's definitely a great original idea. That's the kind of thing that exactly the Metaverse is looking for. It's not just playing or working in the Metaverse, having like well-being.
Were you able to hear my question?
And coaches. Yep, I did. Is it me? Or
No. It's one of our speakers. Yeah, he has some network problems or something like this. I don't know.
Oh, well, I guess I definitely think it's a great idea for him. So he should continue and work on it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
unable.
I think we should just close the room because the network is really bad. Okay, Sebastian, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
My pleasure. Sorry for him, but yes, it's a great idea. I really encourage more like diverse type of culture, well-being activities.
That's so true. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day, and
Thank you all.
hope to
Bye.
connect somewhere down the road. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye bye.